Hi all, this is Falcon Paradox, and I'm replying to ShukuenShinobi's review of Figma Kamen Rider Incisor. I'm a huge Ryuki fan, and I intend to get all 13 riders. But is that a path that you wish to follow as well? Yeah, watch on, and maybe I'll give you some of the answers you're seeking. Scissors, of course, is the third rider in the Ryuki series to appear. Really love his design. So I'm going to probably pay attention to a few more of the smaller details. Let's start off with the helmet. The sculpt here is excellent. Best we've seen so far. The details here are nice and sharp. Like Shukuen, I also had a problem with the crooked eye antenna thing, so I was able to yank it out and replace it with a drop of super glue. Unfortunately, you know, if Shukuen had that same problem, that means it's another quality control issue during manufacturing and should have been remedied at the plant, not by the consumer. But I was just lucky that when I pulled it out, I didn't pull out anything unnecessary, and so far it's been doing pretty good. The silver paint and everything up in here has been excellent. The black paint and stuff was really good. It's a two-part helmet, which means this whole part right above the eyes here was one piece, and then this upper piece was a separate piece. So that's how they were able to get the detailing in there. Something I just kind of noticed. On the sides of the shoulders, we have a continuation of the crab motif. Really nice spikes. I just love how this thing looks on the guy. Very sleek. No zipped thread, but that's just the way he was created with. I mean, well, the rider was created. Let's see, the scissors visor, or incisor visor, very nice. I just love how he uses this in the show. It's like a punching kind of weapon. He also gets Ren, or Kamen Rider Knight, in a chokehold that looks really awesome. I really like it, but this thing does come off quite a bit. There we go. Yeah, all you really got to do is touch it, and the thing will fall right on off. The guard vent also comes off easy, but there's a zipped thread design in here, which fits in here, which gives it a little bit more of a grasp, but other than that, I think you can only use it for scissors. I mean, you can try to jam it into another figure, and it'll work temporarily, but it's really not meant for that. Guard vent. The detailing on this guy was great. Really love the sculpt and everything like that. Kind of wish it was one piece without the scissors as a separate whole. I mean, you know, the shears here as a whole separate piece, but what can you do? I'm just used to the Sochaku Henshin version. I am so glad that this is one whole piece, because if anybody remembers the Sochaku Henshin version, which I happen to have right here, it was open on one side, which means he was always exposed. You could always see the hand, so it's just great to have a whole piece for this guy. And it opens and closes, kind of loose, but that doesn't bother me that much. Yeah, great sculpt on that. On to the biggest problem that I've had so far with this figure. Can anyone guess what it is? If you've said paint, you are absolutely correct. Shukuen liked the glossy metallic orange texture. I do not. On screen, I would describe Scissors' color as a pearl golden orange or a light metallic orange, but he's not gold. Odin is gold. When you look at his armor, it's more of an orange peel kind of texture, at least in the pictures, and he's not shiny. I mean, he's not like glossy. And you're probably thinking I'm being picky and being too overly critical. Okay, that may be. But to get this specific color of orange, you have to first give it a coat of silver paint, and then follow it up with a coat of clear orange paint, which means this guy has 2 coats of paint. So, you ask, well, the silver paint went on fine, from what I can tell, but there's areas where the orange paint kind of missed, and you get like a lighter portion of orange instead of a constant, consistent color. Like in between the armor here, it turns to almost a golden, almost a silverish with an orange hue. The guard vent was particularly noticed over here in the handle, which I know my camera doesn't get, but I'll show you with the picture. And I guess the biggest complaint, I'm going to separate this guy right here, is what I really like about Scissors is he has these lines right here, and they're real consistent here in the arm. But here, not so much. It's almost silver here because the paint just didn't go on very well, and I don't know if it chipped or what, but it looks like crap right here. I'll try to take a picture of that for you can look at it yourself. It's got an orange bit at first, then it's silver, then it's like a yellowish orange, and then it's orange. So they dropped the ball on this one. You're probably saying, so I'm being too critical still. Okay, so I can probably live with a little bit of lighter color in between here or whatever. You know, it's not that bad. Well, when you do a clear coat of orange, it's hard to be consistent all the way around. And the shield, the guard vent, I would say this is almost a burnt orange, or it might even be considered brown, because it's pretty dark. And I know you can't really tell with this because I tried fixing it with some gold paint since I am an airbrusher, but you can also really notice it behind his head. I'll try to show you in some other pictures exactly what I mean, but for a perfectionist like me, I don't know why they would do this and have these issues with it. Like I said, I've been airbrushing for years, and this entire paint job could have easily been done with a nice orange metallic paint with one simple coat. When I first got it, I was like, wow, yeah, okay, orange, okay. But I'm so used to the ShukuenShinobi version here that, and again, I know you can't see with my camera, but the color differences between the original and this is pretty drastic. It's pretty like, wow, there's a difference. That's pretty much all I was really going to compare him to, was just the color. That, and, dropped something. The scissors visor, which is another issue altogether, is just honking huge compared to this, the ShukuenShinobi version, which is smaller. It's huge. So having a smaller visor was something I just wanted to bring that on to. But okay, I'm done with that. Let's move on. Despite my complaints, is he a fun figure? Absolutely. I've had a lot of fun getting him in stabby poses, picking all the characters up with his strike vent. I'd say he's equally as fun as Wing Knight, but that's probably my bias speaking, since I really do love Scissors' character. He only lasted a few episodes, and was dubbed the eternal loser of the Rider War by someone. I think the eternal loser of the Rider world would probably be Impeller, but that's up to debate. He's a great villain to fight against either Wing Knight or Dragon Knight, or Strike, or anybody. I just really like his character. It's just really cool. Let's get to the score. Paint will get a 3.5 out of 5. Quality control is an issue here. They didn't quite put enough green paint on this top antenna here, and they're missing little bits here and there. And plus, the paint for this kind of started to scratch off a little bit, the silver edges and stuff, which is probably more of a play problem. But the real disappointment for me, come on, the real disappointment for me would be just the choice of paint. This orange thing. You know, Max Factory clearly had a vision for this figure to go for the orange that would be on this part of the claw right there. They were going for this specific color. Unfortunately, when you do two coats of paint, a silver and then a clear coat, you're going to have issues like too much paint on this, not enough paint back here, too much paint back here, not enough paint in between these lines. It looks like there is some drippage up here where it's like a small line is a little thick. Unfortunately, that's just the price you pay. And then having stuff like missing paint in here, that's just unforgivable. I'm not even going to try to talk about that one. Sculpt is a 4.5 out of 5. Minor issues regarding the odd antenna-like things that are up here. Issues with the visor attachments coming off kind of easily. That could have been fixed. And plus, this pair of scissors looked a little undersized. I think I'm just used to the gigantic ones here. That's lined up properly. Yeah. I'm just used to the bigger scale, so had to take some getting used to. It's probably more accurate, the Figma version. Accessories will get a 5. Perfect score. He comes with everything he needs. Nothing that he doesn't. Enough said. Articulation will get a 4.5. He's as articulated as Wing, with less restrictions than torque. But the one pose I really like him getting into is where this one where he faces the front of the blade, or this back part of the blade, towards you. And in the 13 Rider Special, he charges at you with the shield up, like this. Unfortunately, to get him in this pose, you have to really loosen the joint right here, because the way it's sculpted, it doesn't allow that. So you have to kind of like pop it up on the joint to raise it in order to get this whole thing to work like that. That's not a sculpt problem. That is an articulation problem. I'm grading them that way because only scissors is the one that really faces this backhand motion towards you. So, yeah. Fun factor, we'll get a 4.5. I may be biased here because I really love the design of Scissors. He just has a real awesome kind of don't mess with me design. With a huge claw in one arm and a sharp pair of shears in the other, Incisor looks like he can cut you up. Pun intended. The grand total score will be 4.5 stars. Despite his issues, he's still an excellent figure. And again, I'm a bit biased because I like his design. So it's hard for me not to recommend him. Of course, looking at the facts, he's probably the weakest rider. He only appeared in 3 episodes of both Dragon Knight and Ryuki, and was always meant to be a minor character. He always is killed easily. So I would say collect him if you like his design, or if you're trying to get all 13 riders. At this time, AmiAmi doesn't look like they're opening up more pre-orders for him, because apparently he's pretty popular. But keep trying, and I'm pretty sure Max Factory will give you at least one more chance to order this guy. I want to thank you all for watching my second opinion review. I'd like to thank ShukuenShinobi for his review, and take care.